Today I want to talk about a very simple strategy to change a simple sketch like this to this. And the simple trick is just to use multi-color wash. And I'm going to show you how. Let's go. The reason I'm sharing this is because for the longest time my sketch was just very flat and bland, and then I discovered this technique. It helped me tremendously. I'm going to pass it on to you. Before we do that, let's show you some of my sketch. This is a sketch of an elephant. You can see the color I use is just, it's a bizarre mix of blue and orange and yellow, and the mix in one wash, there are probably about 4 or 5 colors right in there. Another example where this is just a background wash, but you could see almost that there are about 3 colors in this mix as well. So you can see that it is not from a single tube of color, but it's a mixture of a few colors in the same wash. Same thing with the wash of this sky, there are about 3 or 4 colors right in there. The point I'm trying to show you is that there is great interest when even a simple sketch, if you mix it with multiple color, it is much more interesting. Alright, let's show an example how you could actually do multi-color wash. Let's just do 2 rectangle or 2 squares. The first one, we're just gonna basically paint a single color using permanent alizarin crimson. So that was for basically a single color square. Now we're gonna do a multi-color square, and we're gonna wet it down first. Here you're gonna see me load a variety of colors. I'm trying to get somewhat of an orange color, so it will be a mix of yellow and reds basically. I'm gonna load in new gamboge. I've already loaded in permanent alizarin crimson. I'm gonna load in lemon yellow, and I will load in probably another 1 or 2 more colors. But the idea is that by mixing all these colors that are quite close together, like yellow and reds, you get a beautiful orange. And it's not a tube of orange you can buy, but it's a tube of orange that is beautiful. I must say that I learned this from Don Andrew. I think he calls it saturation, but regardless, this is a technique that's been used by watercolorists for many years, and so this is not even new. So you can see the end result here, where the single color is a bit bland, but the multicolor version is a lot more interesting. And this is what you can use for all your washes in your watercolor to basically get the same effect by loading in multiple colors, like what I've done in my examples earlier. So alright, let's paint a couple of cherries 2 times. First is with a single color, and the second one with multicolor thrown in, and you can see the difference and see whether it's something that you want to try for your own sketch. Now, of course, not every shape requires multicolor, obviously, but it is the same concept that you can apply on your wash. And I always think of my watercolor wash as multi-color wash because I want to make it more complex than just a simple, wash, if you like. So the first example, leaving a bit of highlight, I use permanent alizarin crimson. I'm just going to throw in, a little bit more pigment. Same with the second cherry, leave a bit of highlight and basically put in the color in one go. Right after that, I add in the stem and the shadow, all in a single color wash. I even put in a bit of brown on top because there's a bit of a brown right there. Alright, so that's the first example of a sort of a flat wash, if you like, single color all throughout. Now we move into the second example where I'm going to use multicolor shapes for every single shape that I see in this sketch. First one being, I kind of start right on top. That's just the stem. I put in the same brown all through, even including the bottom part of the stem. Load in the green, so there's already 2 colors loaded in that stem. And you can see that I'm going to now go into the red. In fact, I'm going to start with the shadow, and I start with a mixture of permanent alizarin crimson with French ultramarine purple, and I put down the dark side of the shadow plus the dark side of the cherries, and then only then I add in permanent alizarin crimson, the red, the cherry part of the red part of the cherry, sorry. And you can see that I'm loading in the two colors and letting them blend and mixed wet on wet. In some way, the first wash has already wet the paper, if you like, so I didn't quite pre-wet the paper here. You can see that I'm loading in more and more colors, more reds, more yellow, lemon yellow, new gamboshed, and I even load in cadmium scarlet as well. Then I went back to add another layer of darker green, if you like, on the stem, and I add in with a very small brush and some of the shadow and so on and so forth. So they're multicolor even in the small stem shape, if you like. And that is something that you just gotta be mindful. Every single shape deserves more than one color. And after that, I go in with my white, gouache white. In this case, it's actually Copic opaque white. And I'm going in to draw in another color on top of that mix, white, for highlight, that I've already lost because the shape is so small. Didn't quite manage to maintain the paper white when I put in the stem. And then what I did was I go in with a very stiff brush to soften the edge of the highlight, just to soften it up because it's just too hard edge to be realistic. And that is the end of it, basically. And you can see the results in terms of the final outcome. Here it is. So in summary, if you want to level up your watercolor, try this technique. Load multiple color in every shape and treat every shape as a wash, and you will, get much better results in the end. Try it and stay safe wherever you are. This is Whee Teck out.